For 7 days, we journeyed across Iceland, through uncharted territories, lava plains, and roaring seas. In this film, we retrace those steps, showing Iceland and all its beauty. But beneath all this beauty, the Earth hides its true power. Some places make you feel like you're on a different planet. Geyser Geothermal Area is one of them, where you see boiling mud pots, fumaroles, which are vents on Earth's surface, and the infamous Stroker, a giant geyser which erupts every 5 to 7 minutes and blows boiling water some 35 meters into the air. These are the geysers, and this is Iceland. But not all of Iceland's wonders rise from deep within the earth. Some begin far beyond it. Once, long ago, a traveler from the depths of space struck the earth with unimaginable force. From that cosmic collision, this perfect circle was born, a silent reminder that the heavens above can shape the world below. Later in the day, here I am, just stepping out of the famous plane wreck on Iceland's black sand beach. What's left of a US Navy aircraft that crash landed here in 1973. Across the rugged landscapes of Iceland, waterfalls cascade in every direction. Some thunder from towering cliffs. Others tumble gently through emerald valleys. And each is truly something to behold. Past the waterfalls, the road began to climb. Deep in the hills of Iceland lies Vik. From its hilltop church, the entire village comes into view. And just beyond, the black sands stretch out like a scene from a different world. Beyond Vik, our journey climbed toward its last great summit, a volcano. What remains from the eruption is a vast expanse of hardened lava. The volcano, waning but still active, months after its onset. We've explored Iceland's stunning volcanoes and landscapes. Now, let's turn our focus to the incredible wildlife that calls this land home. In the south coast of Iceland, there's a particular creature that roams these lands. Sheep. This herd's leader gives a single call. One by one, the flock obeys. Heading toward a glacial stream, a boundary they must cross to continue their journey. One by one, they leap, each clearing the icy waters below. Soon, all have reached fresh ground, and so they press onward to the next adventure. And now we turn to its horses, grazing gently in fields that seem to stretch on forever. But from the distance, a lone visitor appears. A dog, curious and unafraid. In moments, the mood shifts. Hooves stir, tails swish, and the horses greet their companion. heart of Reykjavik, thousands of birds make this pond their home. Yet today, it is the seagulls that take center stage. They feast from generous passerbyers in a frenzy of wings. Now, with bellies full, the tempo changes. They take to the air, gliding over the water's surface. It is their afternoon ritual, a leisurely flight, part exercise, part play. From the humble sheep to the sturdy horses, the loyal dogs to the birds that roam the skies, these animals are the beating heart of Iceland's wild spirit. And beyond the animals, this rugged, untamed landscape reminds us why our journey through Iceland has been nothing short of breathtaking. Hey guys, hope you liked the film. So, a little backstory on kind of how I created the film. Throughout the film, I hope it's clear that I was very inspired by Planet Earth, one of my favorite shows. Two things I really wanted to focus on were, first of all, sound design. And sound design is twofold. First of all, I created a custom score with different musical instrumental melodies, and then combined that with actual SFX, highlighting the different animals that you see, the wind, the rain, so on and so forth. Every sound that you hear throughout the film is not actually recorded in the camera. It is layered on by me and kind of whatever my mind imagines the scene sounds like. I'm kind of creating this world through sound. And the second thing I really tried to focus on was different drone shots. I think using the drone in your films is one of the most efficient ways to get beautiful cinematic footage that also looks quite unique, because people are not up in the skies looking down on certain things. Rather than getting like a set 24mm shot, everybody kind of already sees that type of shot. So I try to make my shots unique, and one of the ways I do that is through drone. And moreover, you're not lugging a camera throughout every single part of the space. You set one location and you get all your beautiful drone shots. So that's really why I love it. It's an efficient way to get cinematic shots. And if I had a little bit more time, there's actually a few things I would have loved to capture. Unfortunately, on the second to last day, I woke up like a truck hit me, felt incredibly sick, and that was actually the day we were going to visit the volcano. And funny enough, it was a 5-mile hike there and back. So it was torturous for me being so sick hiking that. I wish I had actually got better shots of the volcano, because I was so sick. I felt like I just didn't have enough time or enough bandwidth to get the right shots, and I would have loved to even have gotten a little bit more closer to the volcano, but being sick, I was just scared, and I kind of wanted to just get out of there and go back and sleep. So that was my one regret, and there was actually a few things that I wish I would have gotten the time to see, but we just didn't have the time. And if I had a few more days, a few things I would have loved to see and captured were, first of all, number one is the glaciers. And another thing I would love to do is go to more of the north side of Iceland. We kind of stayed in the south side of Iceland. And although it's beautiful, I would have loved to have seen a little bit more of the desolate side of Iceland and maybe gone on a few hikes, in this desolate location. I think that would have been cool. But didn't get the time to do that. And you saw what I produced, and I think it was pretty cool what I got. I wanted to give a little bit more information to people possibly wanting to visit Iceland, and kind of what to expect. So Obviously, from the film, you see there's a ton of pros. It's incredibly beautiful, but I wanted to start with a few cons, three different cons that I have in mind. And the number one thing about Iceland is that it is incredibly expensive, too expensive for such a desolate and kind of quaint island. You would never think it would be so expensive. Everywhere you go, even in the smallest city in the middle of nowhere, it is like being in Times Square. I remember one of the things I would get every morning was a caprese sandwich from the bakery down the street. And that small caprese sandwich was $25. So incredibly expensive throughout. And the second con is actually the food. The caprese sandwich that I had every single morning was probably one of the best things I had on the entire trip. There's not really a lot of Icelandic cuisine native to Iceland, and it's kind of a lot of Americanized takes on things. So if you're looking for a food destination, definitely not Iceland. And the third thing about Iceland is that there's not a ton of culture, although there are few things that you can kind of point to as particularly Icelandic. There's not a ton, whereas France, Germany, Portugal, Italy, they have quite a few distinct things about their country, whereas Iceland, really does not. So those are the few cons. Now the pros, and there's a ton of pros. The number one thing is the scenery. Everywhere you go, the second you step off that plane, it looks like you're in a different world. All throughout Iceland, it's not grass or it's not dirt, it's actually rock, and it's not smooth rock, it's quite treacherous, bumpy rock. And on top of all that rock is a thick layer of moss. And it quite literally seems like you're on Mars. And you could see why a lot of different movies were filmed here. Second thing is that everything is pretty convenient. If you rent a car, which we did, within 15 minutes, you can see geysers, waterfalls, plane wrecks. Everything's very close together because all of Iceland is really incredible. And the third thing is that if you love adventures, Iceland is for you. There is a ton of adventures that you can go on. Not only as a filmmaker is it great, but just as an adventure lover in general, going on hikes, climbing glaciers, canoeing. There's a ton, more than I can even think of. And if we had more time, I would have loved to have gone on a few more adventures. So that's a little bit about Iceland. If you're looking for like an upper echelon kind of fine dining, museum-like experience kind of that you would have in Italy, France, or something like that, this is not for you. But if you're an adventure lover, if you're a filmmaker that wants to capture incredible shots, then this is definitely a place that you'd love to visit. And if you have any questions about Iceland, feel free to give a comment below, and I'll do my best to answer that. And if you love the film, which I hope you did, please please subscribe. I hope to create a bunch more films like this in the future. Stay tuned.